Why is it so choppy? Do I have to wait for it to like load up proper? Right, I want to watch it in 4K, but I don't think I can. I don't think it's gonna let me. Oh, that's much smoother. Oh yeah, that's much smoother. I just think it might be the TV can't do thing. What is? I think that's Tails. Boost. A lot of people keep referencing this to the Unreal Engine stuff. Okay. Waiting for this Sonic. So I do have theories. Wait, what did he say? It's too dangerous? Yeah, it says it's too dangerous. What is this? This is Sonic. Never seen this before. You haven't? Weird. Okay. So first things first is a darker tone. Well, it's implied to be a darker tone. I still don't think it's going to be a darker tone. I think it's going to have the same sort of whimsiness that I'm used to. It's trying to go for the more adventure-y tone. Adventure 2 is probably the best way to describe it. I think it's trying to hit that sort of area more. So there's only a few sections that I really want to look at. So obviously I don't really... This first bit we've seen before because of the first trailer. So we don't know what this is. I wish I could zoom in. I could zoom in and enhance. But it doesn't look mechanical. Wait, now it looks mechanical. It looks like the Destiny. It looks like weapons from Halo 4. But if they explode, then that means they're just bombs. They're not. They're more like shots. The pixels remained on the boost system, so this means this is a new style of boost. Could be me, but I think your stream is struggling a little bit when you play the video fast. No, I think it genuinely is. I think sometimes when things have been going on for far too long, usually that's the situation. Like this is what I mean by I need to replace my laptop. That kind of sucks for me. Let me see if I can just quit Discord and see what happens. I can't see Discord for a little while. Okay. So there was some bits that I was seeing that I wanted to stop at. So not this section. Obviously, this looks like a section you can run up. But it wasn't this bit I wanted to cover. It was... So these look like portals. Hang on. Let me go back for a second. So this is a portal here. This reminds me of Breath of the Wild, to be honest. Yeah, same here. So this looks like something you have to activate. Because in the next scene, they've got a very much the same thing. Same structure on this side. So... they may be fast travel points. I think that would be it. These would be like fast travel posts. So you can go to different islands from that. Also, I like this. Maybe it's just me. I think this is a reference to Sonic 2 with aquatic. I think they've just added this because it just looks a lot similar to the pillars that were in aquatic garden in Sonic 2. Okay, so this is the bit I wanted to cover. You see this bit here? And you're a reference to Sonic 2. I am indeed a reference to Sonic 2. This section here, it makes me think that Sonic's traversal abilities, instead of climbing, for example, it's that he's able to run fast enough that he's able to run on walls. So this is why I thought this was more similar to Sonic Lost Worlds. It feels more like a mix between Lost Worlds and Generations in some ways. It's a faster version of it. So maybe the theory here is you can boost its texture fast. Stop it. No. I know it's texture, but there's a difference between texture and games design. Okay, I know the difference. Solo Field. I made textured rocks before. Geez, I feel like this section of the rock has a. You did? I did. Uh, I feel like this section of the rock has this sort of. It's on purpose to be like this. So if you look at it as a path, it looks like the road kind of goes like this and then goes down again. So you could not run on the main path, but you can have a smoother path going across. Yeah, I'm sorry. Because then it means you have a smoother path. Like, the same section, you can see more of it. Obviously, this is very obvious. So you can see it kind of reminds me of a grind rail. This looks like a jumping off point. I mean, Sonic Frontiers could also be like a weird future dystopia as opposed to a past dystopia. Or like a present dystopia. Like, this used to be civilization, and we're in the future as opposed to the past. And maybe by some stupid coincidence, Silver's in this. Because you remember how I was saying earlier that the purple ones allowed you to traverse on top? This is kind of half the reason why. Because it looks like you can run straight up this. I thought originally this structure would allow you to run around like a spiral, but it doesn't seem like you can. It could be. It might be wrong. It could be that these sections kind of end on a purple point like this, so you can run up it. So you got glowing green bits. It's too dangerous. We don't know why it says it's too dangerous. Wait, why is there... Was that like a lens thing? Hang on, let me check that again. Oh, wow. I don't want to hear that. I'm seeing if there's like... No, I'm just stupid. I feel like they put a lot of effort and money into this Sonic. Really hyped about the open world Sonic game if that's where they're going. I feel more like it's semi-open world. Like, it's going to be open world in the sense of you can travel around it, but it'll have sections in the game where you can enter hubs where you'll have more solid platforming, where you'll have a point A to B. What is this, though? Let me just slow this down. I want to know what is happening here. Hang on. Yeah, more like Odyssey. So this is a giant boot. But I can't seem to understand where its legs are starting and ending. So this is definitely a boot, which is good. But I can't tell if it's more like a tentacle or more like a regular leg. This is purple. It feels like whenever they show characters like this, it always feels like, I say it always feels like, it instinctively puts me towards Metal Sonic. Because metallic structure, purpley blue, big, massive robot, Metal Sonic. I would say it had some like red line on it. Okay, so I have no idea what the heck this thing is. Bah. I have no idea what the heck this is. I'll time you out for. I'll time you out. So, wait, hang on. If it's Mario like semi-open world, I'm in. Wait, hang on. Is there some meme I'm not aware of between you and Sola about this? Have you been like super? Have you been talking about Odyssey too much again? I say again, but really, I've not really heard it the first time either, have I? I'm trying to figure out the structure here. It just feels like it would be Metal Sonic, but I'm wishful thinking here. Because this looks like the other leg, or the other tentacle, whatever it is, but I don't know how this thing moves. Because I don't have a clear distinction of where a head might be. And this isn't the full function, obviously. This isn't like the full body. This looks like it's only part of it. Like, this looks like the other leg. This is an entire other section that comes. You mentioned Mario Odyssey, but I haven't said anything. Oh, okay. Grrr! Sorry. Okay, so this is apparently the open world. 500 views already? I feel like that sounds about right. Because it's also across 2 or 3 different YouTube channels too. Okay, so look, we're starting to see more of it. These spires are commonalities. Don't know if there's another one. I'm hoping we'll see more regular civilization as opposed to so here's my theory around this. First things first. I think there'll be 7 islands. Same white theme should be banned from the internet. I'm sorry. So here's my theory with this a little bit. There'll be 7 different islands because Sonic always has a theme about 7 zones. So having 7 themes would be good. Also, it allows you to give you a reason to go to different islands because this is apparently called Windfalls Islands. But this is only part of it. So this is your zone 1, effectively. It also gives you different abilities to, I think these parts here. It does really feel like you can run up it. I really wish Lost Worlds had 7 worlds as well, right? Yes, it did. It did. But this, because of the idea of it being an open world, I'm trying to figure out how would you go from island to island. And you would either run across the island or you would use these pillars to get from point A to point B. Lost Worlds was just I feel more like it's a good proof of concept, but not a end point. This is the interesting part. This is the thing that we don't know. This could have been the thing that started attacking you as well. There's no badniks, which I think the world will be filled with. I think a lot of the world will be filled with badniks. Or like just general enemies that will appear. Not like, not that dissimilar to Breath of the Wild, but it would be more of a solid reason without having to be like, oh yeah, and the robots just kept coming back because Lost Worlds, because Robotnik and robots. This could also be Eggman Nega's world, although I really wish they didn't use that name. I think it probably sounded better in Japanese. So this is a top view of the situation. So you've got 3 paths here. You've got this path. I would assume this is a path too. Or it's just really weird geometry, which it really likes to have. I'm trying to... Thank you very much, Mongoose, for making me stay hydro. So like there's these little sections here, and here. This looks like another one of this. Here's a question. What if it's you have to reconnect the islands by going to the edge points of every island and connecting them through these little points, like a net, pulling it back together. I do like this little rock formation. It's the balancing of the rocks thing. I feel like that a lot of the puzzle solving elements will be trying to turn on those lights, but what purpose it has, I think, is more like little power generators, maybe a little less. See, this is what I mean by, like, it kind of makes my point. You can probably run across this. I think you use the boost system to run across this. Even if you look at the pathing here, it looks like you can roll up it as opposed to rolling across. Like, it's not too jaggedy that you couldn't just straight up run across here. And it looks like this section here does lead to a more technologically filled area. So more like a civilization type area. This seems too clean when it comes to the comparative to the other sections that we've seen. So we're going to probably get a few more trailers showcasing some of the different areas. I'm trying to figure out what these might be. This just looks like a rail on rail system. Let me go back for a second. By the way, how is your walk, Solarfield? I want to know what this is. Because it feels more like you can roll into these areas. I'm just wondering why you'd be able to roll into these areas. So this looks like it ends to a rolling point. So you run across this bridge, run straight, and you can see how it kind of things upwards. It's a straight up, but you can see the slope going up. I'm glad they apparently made an Xbox Series version of the game, since the game will also be on Switch. I'm curious about the scalability of the engine. I can understand that. I can respect the curiosity of it. So yeah, it feels more like these are areas you need to get to the top of. They're very similar to the spires in Breath of the Wild, but you don't need to do that. I think more like they're geography points more than anything else. See, the problem I have with this is that you can definitely see where the top part here is. You know what this is supposed to look like at the top, but the fact that we get shown it in the next scene means that we should be able to see the top. He just jumps back and that's it. So this is, maybe that's his knee forward? Yeah, I think that's his knee. Because it juts outwards. I feel more like that's not his other leg. That's his arm. This is a part of his main body. But that's not the top of his head. Because the only other option you got is when you see... Where's his eye? Here. This is supposed to be the top of his head here. This section is meant to be wherever the top part is. This is supposed to be like the tippy top of his area. But we don't see it. And this is meant to be that he's taken a step forward. So he's slightly on his knee, or maybe on his like front towards the left. So this is when he's already attacked him, maybe? Oh, he's about to put his foot down. I mean, this is not like rocket science type situation. I'm curious as well to know about the scalability. I really want to know. I'm glad that they're performing with the other ones first. They're not really giving away much to do with the style of technology that they might be using. Because the thing here, wait, let me go back for a second. So what I'm trying to figure out is this could be the head? Is this the head? What? I'm struggling to understand the biology of this robot thing. I have heard of creators. I have heard of Matrix Awakens, Faz. Sorry, Solarfield. Yes, Faz. Why are you talking to myself? I really appreciate that. There's not much you can glean from this. I'll be honest with you. Sorry, off topic, but was wondering. That's fine. I have heard of it. I am indeed curious about it. Techno Odin, yo, that's his knee. How do you know that's his knee? How do you know that's his knee? Did you call me Faz? Yes, I'm. There's Faz and Solar Faz, clearly. Solar Field Faz and Faz, clearly. There's a free demo on the PS5 and the Xbox Series. Yes, I am definitely aware of it. I did want to download that. I was actually gonna make that as a poll, because originally I'd be playing Smash today, because of the tournament that we're doing at the end of the month, and because we normally play Smash, but I really wanted to talk about the trailer stuff. Go back and you can see the leg to the groin area. See, that's the thing. I thought that too, but you can see the zoom in on his eyes where his head is supposed to be. For some reason, it just feels more. I don't know why my head was being stupid. Like this area here is meant to imply that this entire front top section should be where his eyes are, or at least where the head is supposed to be. And because of that, because the lines these go up so much, I kept thinking this might be a shoulder, and his face is actually covered in this area. This is another arm. But I see what you mean by what you're expecting to be the groin area. I don't think that's his groin area, because I feel more like the biology of this particular thing is not a straight up humanoid. I think there's just something. I think this is deliberately framed so that we don't understand it, because if you look in other shots, you see this leg. You see this leg beforehand. It doesn't make sense for this to be his butt, like this section here to be his butt, when this doesn't actually move like a knee. Like, it doesn't move forward and it doesn't do this. This might just be an armor attribute. So if I go back, there's an area where you do actually see his. Here we go. So you can tell that this is meant to be a foot in some form, but it might be a tendril. So this is meant to give you an understanding of scalability here, yeah? This is how far and wide his leg is. That is his other leg. But the thing is, it seems too wide to see that. And there could be another foot somewhere else. You should be able to see his knee clearly, but I feel like I'm not seeing it. Unless I'm just being blind and stupid on purpose. Because that would technically be, that wouldn't be his other leg. This would be his other leg. This would be his arm. But then you would see his other arm. Because you can't, arms don't work that way. Like, if you can see my knees and you can see one of my arm's not doing this. It would have to be somewhere here doing this. It'd have to be somewhere here where you can understand that this is twisting. Go back and you can see the leg to the groin, unless that's the tail. See, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out where the tail, which number, what time. Give me the time code. So this section here feels like an attachment to something. Hang on. So this is where it's meant to be his foot lands. But the way this comes up. Also, this looks like this is how you're supposed to run up. Like you can see. Could be anything really. Yeah, it could be, but that's not the thing here. Also, this area here looks like you're supposed to dodge into running up on the leg or whatever this may be. I think it's more like a tendril, um, rather than a foot or a like I think it's quadrupedal. I think is what I'm trying to go for. Is the wording I'm trying to go for. But the idea is it's either in such a manner where the body, like, because this bit is hard to understand and we actually don't know how wide this really is, because we don't know how wide this really is. We don't know what it's hiding behind. So if we say this is part of its leg, we should be able to run on top of this. This should be the knee. This should be the thigh. And this should be the butt. This section seems like the butt. But this doesn't feel like it's a butt. That looks like the other leg. That looks like the other arm. Where's his other arm? Where's his elbow? Where is this section here? If his arm is this low, unless he's doing this, which doesn't make any sense why a functioning thing would do that. Because if his arm is like, here's the other thing. Like, let's look at his actual position here, yeah? Oh, God, I'm having to get up and do this. If I say he's stamping like this, no feet, but if I say this is his knee, you can see this leg there, and you can see this arm. It shouldn't be that you're hiding here. This arm, you should be able to see it at this angle because you're looking here. You're looking where in front of the first leg. So you shouldn't be able to see any arm covered. So it doesn't seem right for it to be one arm, one arm. That's what it feels like. Does that make sense? Maybe I should do it this way. So basically, if you can see one arm, you should be able to see what the elbow is doing here. So why would a person stamp like this only to put his arm out from the front, and then his arm would be covered like this? Like, his body would not cover that. I don't think it would. Unless I'm overthinking it a little bit, but to be honest, it doesn't seem to fit the build of where the regular arm would be. Because either he can see where you are, meaning you should be able to see both arms at the same time. If the foot is in front, imagine it for a second. Stand, just look at your knee, and that's supposed to be where your shoulder is. If you can see one of the arms, so for example, in this particular case, you should be able to see the left arm. Where is this arm? Unless he's doing this. Unless he's doing this. Unless he's doing this. Which you should be able to clearly tell the other arm, if the other thing is an actual arm. That's what I'm trying to establish. It could be the right hand side as a tail, but we've already seen the other leg in a thing position. The way this feels like it twists. Let me see. Does it twist? Because if you're saying this is a knee, why is this a knee and we're only seeing the back of it? Unless we're seeing the back of the character, not the groin area. If we say this is the tail, and this is the other leg, and this is the front leg, that would make more sense. But this wouldn't be the groin area. This would be his butt, because then we can see and understand that's where his thing is. But we've already seen this section. Let me go here. Let me go back. We're saying that it's a tail, right? So let's say we establish that it's a tail. That doesn't land like a tail. That looks like it's landed. That looks like the way it lands looks like how a tendril might be. Like an octopus leg. Or I guess a better example of this, it might be Metal Gear Solid Rex. Metal Gear Rex. Sorry, let me just do a thing. It's like I'm getting high or something. I've got a snotty nose and I don't know why. Anyway, go back to mine. Okay. Yeah. So we're saying that's. I feel like they're both feet, and it's just got a really weird anatomy. I think that's what I have as a theory on it. I don't think that's humanoid. I don't think it's meant to be a mech-like. It's meant to be mech-like, but I don't think this is meant to be a. I don't think this section here is a foot. Oh, sorry. I think this is a foot, but I feel like it's got more than one type of feet. And if this goes further up, it might be just a big giant dog. Effectively. But then again, where would be the other legs and so on and so forth? So we're saying this is 2 legs, this is a third one. So there is something happening up here that makes it seem like it's a different type of robot. Or mech, or whatever it may be. And this seems like it moves like a leg. That's the thing. Let me just go back for a second. I want to check something. So this, follow this, follow this, follow this, follow this, goes up. See, here's the thing. This connects into this, and this is a different section of the leg that we didn't see in the original setup. So let's follow this one. Follow this, follow this, follow this, follow this, goes up. Where the hell did this land? Why is this one only moving? Can you see what I mean by I don't think it's humanoid? Because it's got a flat foot. But it looks like it doesn't move like with joints like this. It moves more like a tendril like this. So feet kind of do this, but you can't tell from that. Whereas a tendril would do this. So I feel like it's doing this more. Does that make a little more sense now? Also, I like how, if we go back for a second, it's actually might have given us a clue. Yeah, it's given us a little clue. It's a very subtle clue of how we're supposed to traverse this. So remember how we were saying it was Shadow of the Colossus, right? Pay attention to this section of the pay attention to this section of the foot. Automatically, these are steps. This is an armored area. So what is going to happen is when we're attacking this thing, we will get an opportunity to run up it. So the way we're going to fight this is we're going to fight this by running up this little section here. We're going to run up this entire section. We're going to run up here and jump across. I feel like that would be the way. Because maybe that's how you use your boost system. Or your perceived boost system. Trying to see if there's any other sections that might have been opened up. So it looks like the vents opened up on the side. So it looks more like you kind of... It looks more like you kind of go up and left. And then go up. But then the other option would be you can run up all the way up here. Because you've got grip. That's the thing. You've got grip on these little areas. So you run up here. Come to the top. This is one platform. And then you do it again. As you make your way to the top of wherever this Colossi type enemy is. Alternatively, this could be a head, and this is just a really long ass arm. It's a very stupid way of looking at it, but that is a thing. So my thing here. Hang on, that changes. The other thing is that I feel like this leans itself forward this way. But it's weird that it leans itself forward to the right, but this thing is moving to the left. Meaning it's trying to travel maybe forward. So it's going actually away from you. So we've been looking at it from the back this entire time, I think. Yeah, I think we're looking at it from the back. I think we're looking at it from an angle where we still don't understand what's going on this section here. It could be like a dinosaur. That would make a lot of sense if it's a dinosaur type thing. Imagine me being right. Somebody clip this and be like, we're gonna review this back in November of next year. Mecha Godzilla, basically, yeah. Because this doesn't look. This looks like another type of leg. So these share features on both sides. I'm trying to think what it moves like. Because at the moment we're seeing it more like this. We're seeing it more like this at the moment on this angle. And then we've got a third thing. Yeah, it could be more like, well, no, I was gonna say it's more like a dinosaur if its whole body is tilted forward like this. Then it would make sense to have like that sort of three-legged feature at the bottom and a tail that works differently. But if everything works that way, again, if it's more like a Godzilla type thing, it would have something that would be more Godzilla-like. I'm gonna switch this off a bit. Because if this is a tail, this needs to have more of a function towards it. And if this is only part of the tail, if this is the tail, then it would make sense why you can't see the other leg. But then the other side of it is if this is the bent section of the leg and that's a tail. Let's say we went with the idea that what we're seeing right now is indeed two legs between these two sections, yeah? Let's say these two legs, these are definitely two legs. Then I think my dinosaur theory might be correct. Guys, I think I might be correct. If this is indeed a butt, this would be a tail. And if this is indeed a tail, then we wouldn't see the rest of the body because it's so far up on the left-hand side. Otherwise, this wouldn't be here. This just would not exist. This might be wishful thinking on my part, but this is going on the idea that these two are the same type of armor and the same type of appendages. Because then there's a reason why. But the only downside to this is then there would be a reason why this section would meet up around about the same section here. The only downside to it is that it's a bit hard to understand where this one ends and this one begins. Huh. Actually, maybe. Let me try something. Let me try something. I was going to bring it into Photoshop, but I feel more like this isn't the situation. We're going to draw some legs. Hang on. if it meets up here, say that the thing meets up here, hang on, and then that means it meets up here, and we just can't tell from this. So that means we have this entire like body section, but it wouldn't make sense unless it's top heavy or top left. So basically, this is what we're dealing with. Are you working tomorrow, Faz? No, not tomorrow. But I am being told that I am super, social, being a heavy socialite. So here's the only downside, right? So if we're looking at this from the Sonic's perspective, we should only be able to see from the knee upwards. We shouldn't be able to see the entire body, or at least it's trying to frame it in such a manner that Sonic can only see a certain amount. We're only showed a certain amount as well. So we're looking at not at Sonic's level where we can look straight up and the only thing we see is leg. We're actually further out, and the parts that we see is from his thigh, his leg, all the way up to his thigh. So if we're saying that this section here is a thigh of sorts, let's say that this section comes in, this is actually a knee, and this is actually a thigh. The question we'd then have to ask is, where's his other leg? His other leg is technically here. That's the thing. This other leg exists in a different way. So this is effectively what we're looking at right now. If I show you like that, hopefully you can see it. Let me put it on full screen. This is effectively what we're looking at right now. If I show it you like this, hang on. This is effectively what we're looking at right now. So if I show you like that, this bottom bit, the bottom bit is the legs, the right bit is the tail, the top bit is where the body or the head is supposed to be. The thing is that we can't see that section, and that tail has to counterweight to something. You don't have a tail like that without actually counterweighting to something in this general direction. Hang on. That's the whole point of the tail, really. The tail is meant to counterweight to this. So that's where I think we're at with the whole thing. Does that make sense? Can you see it? I don't know if you guys can see it, so I'm going to put this here for a second. If I put it like this, I think that might give you a better understanding of what I'm looking at and seeing. If we're saying that this is a tail, this is only the front part of the legs that we can see, and the other part of the legs is the other section of this particular groin area, that means that this is probably more like a tail and has to counterweight to something else. You can't have a tail by as a mech for no reason. It's just Cell's final form. I mean, it could be. Just as easily it could be, but it doesn't make sense where you should be able to see the arm. Remember, if you put your hands down, your hands should be around just past the ass. And if you can't see your hands from there, assuming that it is standing, why is it that we can't see the top of it? Like I said, it has to counterweight to something. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a tail. That's if we're assuming it's a tail, by the way. If it's a tendril-like creature, that's the only other option you got. So that's where I think my theory is with a lot of it. I'm sorry that you got another theory from me, but if we're saying that that's the type of enemies, we're doing Shadow of the Colossi type enemies, I would assume that we're going to get enemies that are more monstrous as opposed to the regular bird type enemies that we have. Also, I think this might be a point where Robotnik's already ruled the world, or his robotic or AI forms have already taken over. Very similar to the Metallic storyline, the Metal Virus storyline that happened in the IDW comic books. That's where I think we're headed as a story type situation, if we're going to say Sonic Frontier. So it's more like, it's the final bastion, but it's more like keeping things at bay. This is actually, could be Shadow of the Colossus like fight where you climb on your enemy to destroy. No, it is that. That's the thing. I think we're all in agreement that it's basically that sort of story. We've established this because they've already done it. They've given you an opportunity to run up. So if you look where it runs up, you can actually run up this section here. Because what happens is, when this thing drops, this thing opens, and it looks like a ladder type situation. So the idea is you run up this section. I mean, potentially you can run up the purple section, because purple seems to be the main theme when it comes to running up stuff. Like this is just a an animation flourish. But there's two sections. You either have this section here or this purple section here based on other parts of the screenshot that you can run up this entire thing. And the idea is you can run around the entire, it's like a massive racetrack, a lateral racetrack where it looks like you can run up the side of the body and around and over to get to the head or something towards that effect. Hang on, I'm getting a phone call. I don't know why. It's definitely a Shadow of a Colossus fight. It's definitely that. But the issue is, how we're gonna traverse it with a character's whole shindig is speed. I would say that if it was me trying to put together a Shadow of the Colossus style fight, it would be trying to dodge things while I am trying to climb and traverse it. So the idea is less to do with Shadow of the Colossus in the sense of, you have to whittle down parts of it to get rid of it. I think it'll be more, you'll be stopped on your way up. There'll be missiles flying about. There'll be lasers flying about. There'll be other badniks flying about, trying to stop you on your way up to get to the weak point. And effectively, you're just trying to break attachments from the top. That's the way I would look at it. That's how you would disable a robot in that sense. I think it would be more similar to, as opposed to Shadow of the Colossus, probably more similar to Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it would probably share more stuff with Horizon Zero Dawn than it would with Shadow Colossus, with the exception of the big, massive, giant robot thingy majig. Right, I'm gonna let this replay in super slow mo. I need to go help my mom with something. I'll be right back. I mean, you're right. That's my point, Solar Field, is that I think you're exactly correct. It is definitely a Shadow Colossus style fight. Um, and I could still be wrong. Haven't played it, sadly, but I believe you. Um, welcome back. Thank you very much, Solar Field. But yeah, I feel like that's what we're looking at as a setup. That if purple is a big reason, like it looks like purple is a very big reason why you're able to traverse certain things, especially when it's purple and blue. Anything purple and blue related will be something you can climb up onto. So my guess would be you have the ability to climb up onto the things without too many issues either. Let me just speed this up a little bit. Okay, right, there we go. So look, purple and blue, still another thing you can probably traverse around. Green isn't something that we definitely know about. It could be portal related. It could be anything else, really. The problem here is I can't exactly tell where the silhouette is, because this is supposed to be where the head is, and this is, if we're looking at towards the sun, this is the horizon. This is just one of them. It could even be a different boss, to be fair, but it looks more like it is flat at the top. So that's the only thing that I can't tell what's going on. It's hard to tell where its shoulder and legs start, or if it even is. But yeah, like I said, this little area here kind of shows you can run up on the right, and it changes over time, meaning that it could stop you, or you need to do it pretty quickly. And this is kind of why you use the boost system, because it slows time down where it looks like you're going faster, or it speeds everything up so you can go up faster. I hope it's latter, that you use the boost system to get up so that you're able to do more things. So it's more like Sonic Generation style snappy controls. But if it's slowing down, it might make things a little too easy and not what you kind of want from a momentum-based gameplay style game. Like, speed is the platforming. That's what I'm hoping for. So hopefully they make me go fast to hit my goal type situation. So yeah, that's what it looks like. The Shadow Colossus stuff seems really interesting. I'm wondering how big we're talking. This is, if we're going by size, this thing at least is 3,000 times the size as Sonic. But it's more of a case of hopefully it plays just as well as it looks. Also, this may look like a cutscene. Okay. I think that's as much as I want to cover for Sonic Frontiers, but is there anything you kind of missed? It looks like also, just in case, as a thing, so this looks like it's chasing you, but why is it like this is taking up so much of the area? So I'm trying to figure out size here. So there's purple thing, and it turns out it's these three things. Why do I get this feeling this isn't the only thing trying to chase you? Why is there more happening here? These three things should not be the only things chasing you here. Because it's a dust cloud, right? Turn left! Turn left! And then these things are chasing you. These look like homing beacons, homing attacks. Why is this purple, though? Sorry, this is pink. Not even purple. So they were going to capture you, but they explode on impact. And then you boost. So you can tell that this is a different style of boost. But the point I'm trying to make with it, as opposed to anything else, is what it sort of what are we looking at here? Oh, it was the opening stinger. It was the opening cutscene. Like it's meant to reveal the world you're in. See, I was hoping, you know, whenever you see stuff like this, I always feel like you can run around it, like into the loopity loops. And I hope you can at some point. Like for funsies, they let you do that. Like there's actual loop de loops for no reason. I hope they have elements like that in this because even though it's open world, it needs to cover those like just fun little bits that I wish Sonic games have. I feel like this is something you spin dash into, by the way. Hmm. Yeah, I think that covers everything that I think would be covered in something like this. I think that covers everything really. Because the only things we're not seeing is stuff that might be more akin to the older stuff, and I would like to see that. I want to see loop de loop. I hope they put in like loop de loops and broken bridges and falling cliffs and stuff like that. I hope they do add little elements like that into the game so that it feels like it still feels like there are elements in Sonic games. So it's just like I know it'll seem like a small thing, but I guarantee you it will ease people into still it being a Sonic game, even though they're going for a clearly different style here. I don't know if they're gonna do this like as a permanent thing. I don't know if they're gonna do it as a permanent thing though. We still don't know what this little thing is, by the way. The problem here is that it still doesn't look like a leg. Not a regular one, anyway. If I can... I think they're just taking it out of the model. I feel like one happens before the other. So I feel like this second section happens before the other section. And when you run away, you finally have an idea of how big everything is. So here's my take. This is actually the first section of the game. This is what you see first. This happens first. And then because this would explain the dust cloud type situation. You don't have a good understanding of the fight. You don't have a good understanding of what you're dealing with. You try to attack, but you can't do anything. So you end up at the first section. You lose the fight basically. So you run away. Because all this has happened. And that would explain the dust cloud from earlier. Like, it's a fissure. That's what I'm thinking this might be. Like, it whacked its tail, and it's a fissure. And you're trying to outpace a fissure. And if you're trying to do that, that would explain why you'd be able to see this, and why from this skyline, technically speaking, you cannot. This is still shorter than what our enemy type is. So if it's still like a clear sky, oh sorry, you take a left, go in a different direction. That is such a pretty scene, by the way. So much stretching and like thinking. Is you boost away, and then when you get out here, you turn around, and then you see the big giant guy in the background. This is basically Sonic establishing that there are titans in this area. And if it might not be Breath of the Wild massive in the sense of what you can, how much of the map is fleshed out, but it might feel more like you can get a good grasp of the area where the titans, anyway, the colossal titans have room to hide. Because we think he's about to smile. But really, I think it's just that we're about to see what he's facing. You know, and then there's a mountain behind him or something like that. Where you see like a good understanding of the height that you're really dealing with, the difference in scalability between Sonic and whatever the enemy is. And Sonic is around about maybe this big, not even that much, probably smaller than that. That's technically how big he is. So the trees are supposed to be massive that you can't really see through it. The canopy is very thin. It's very confusing in that sense. Sorry about that. Anyway. Right. I think, like I said, I think that's covered everything. So what we learned is there is this, they've added like a parkour style to the system of the generations. So they've added a parkour style similar to Lost Worlds, but they've added a boost system as opposed to the running system, the parkour system that you had in thing. I feel like you have to boost to get onto or using the parkour system, otherwise you would just be running it like usual. I think there will be not a drift system, but something that is akin to a rolling system, so that you can roll onto things or roll around things. I think the vibe they're trying to get at is more similar to the Sonic CD opening. I think that might be what they might be trying to make you feel like you're running through, so that everything is sort of scenic and can make you feel like you can make your own trails type situation. And they've effectively had fast travel points, but there's also other little points that you can get to. Maybe they're like individual points that you can teleport to. And obviously it looks like enemy colossal types, even though you can climb onto them, they've got like a clear pathing that you can take for it, as opposed to just 2 or 3 sections where you can just climb and just attack as best as you can. So that's what I think. That's what I learned. I don't know if anyone else got anything. And there's also the mystery of wherever this place is. Also, we have got a Navi-like character. It could be T-Call, you know. It could be T-Call. I wonder if this is their way of bringing back T-Call, very much a old fan favorite. Would you hate it if T-Call returned? I wonder. All right, I think that covers everything I want to say.